Hey, what's up guys, it's the Meridian Aperture here, and this is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. Now, this was released earlier in August, but I do now have it in my hands for review. I've been using it for the last 2 or so weeks, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts on this device. So we're going to start off with the design, so let's turn off the display and turn it around to see that beautiful silver colour. Here we do have our dual camera setup. One's a 12 megapixel wide angle, one is a 5 megapixel telephoto, and we do also have a single LED flash. We've got the antenna lines on the top and the bottom, Samsung logo towards the bottom as well. Here is the magnetic glass strip which we can attach our S Pen onto. It also wirelessly charges. I'll talk through some S Pen features a bit later on in this video. On the top side of the device we do have a speaker on either side, more antenna band lines and another microphone hole. On the right hand side we do have our power button, our volume rocker, another microphone hole and our micro SD card slot, or it will have a SIM slot if you get the 5G enabled model. This does support micro SD cards up to 2 terabytes in size. It comes with 128 or 256 gigs out of the box, which is plenty for me, but if you need more storage then you do have the micro SD card expansion available. And here on the bottom we do have more speakers on either side, as well as more antenna bands and a USB-C port that's capable of 25 watt charging out of the box, but they do also sell a 45 watt charger that you can buy separately. Just like previous Samsung Tab S devices, it is a glass and metal construction. Feels very premium and very thin in the hand. In fact, it is just 5.7mm. So the star of the show, the display. This is a 12.4 inch panel with an 84.6% screen to body ratio. What that means is very, very slim bezels around the sides. It's incredibly immersive with its 1752 by 2800 pixel resolution at a 16 by 10 aspect ratio. That's how wide the display is. That gives you a roughly 266 pixels per inch. It does also have HDR10 and a 120Hz refresh rate. Now I'm filming this video in 60 FPS, so you won't be able to see every frame. However, it's going to look ridiculously fluid and very, very smooth. Out of the box, we are running Android 10 with Samsung's skin on top of One UI 2.5. If you like stock Android, you're going to want the Google Pixel Slate or another Android tablet. However, if you're not fussed, this is going to be right up your street. If you're in the Samsung ecosystem, this is going to be very familiar to you. Usually with Android manufacturers and their software, they don't always keep up to date with the latest updates. Samsung has changed that around. As you can see at the bottom here, I've got the latest September security patch, today being the 8th of September for me. So, well done Samsung, they've kept up to date with their software updates for once. Inside we do have the Snapdragon 865 Plus on a 7nm plus architecture. Games are going to be incredibly smooth on this device, especially if you're playing games which support 120Hz displays. It's just going to run like a dream. Here we are watching me fail at playing PUBG Mobile. But you can just see the frame rate is very smooth as I'm running around. This reminds me of Fortnite actually, but it's not Fortnite. But you can throw whatever you want at this. Here I'm running some Asphalt 8, one of my favourite games to play on a mobile device. Again, performance is it's really smooth. It's probably one of, if not the smoothest performance you're going to get on an Android tablet, as it's running that high power chipset and it has this gorgeous 12.4 inch display. If you are running games which support 120Hz, that's going to give you the most immersive gaming experience. But of course, even if you're running games which don't support it, like this one, it just looks absolutely stunning, whatever you're doing on this huge display. It wouldn't be a Samsung Galaxy Tab S without the S Pen. So that's attached here on the back. It attaches magnetically and it also wirelessly charges on there as well. So if I take the pen off and then stick it back on, it appears there and tells me I have 60% remaining. Now inside, it's not a standard battery, it's actually a capacitor, which is a very fast charging power cell that can go from 0 to 100% in a matter of about 2.5 to 3 minutes. Now you do have this little pen icon here. Whenever you take this out, if you touch that, it comes up with a load of options that you can open. So these are apps, notes, screen, smart select. So I'll show you this one. So if you tap the smart select, it takes a screenshot by itself and then you can select part of it. So I wanted to select that bit of the screen. I can go back and I can select another part. So that's cool. You can even extract text or you can pin to the screen. So I can make it like another window that I can move around. I'll close that out. Or what I like, so I'll hold the pen down when holding it close to the display, is Pen Up. Pen Up is an app that comes with it. It's an arts kind of app, so you can do your own art and draw, etc. So let's make a new one and I'll show you the capabilities of the S Pen. So I'll choose a pencil, choose your brush settings, so you can choose how thick it is essentially. Let's go with the thickest option. And it has pressure sensitivity, and with the 120 Hz refresh rate and 240 Hz touch sampling, it's absolutely wonderful. So if I zoom in a bit, so when I'm drawing on the screen, it's literally just 9 milliseconds of pen latency. That is incredible, especially if you're doing writing, art, whatever you like. There is no perceivable delay between you writing and it appearing on the page. Now it does have pressure sensitivity, like I said, so I'll show you how cool that is. So let's grab another pen. So let's grab a pencil. So if I press very lightly, it's light, and if I press a bit harder, we get a dark line. That's your pressure sensitivity in there. So if you're doing stuff like shading, you really can get some fine details because of the pressure sensitivity in the S Pen. Now in terms of the feel itself, there is a tiny rubber tip on the end of the pen. It doesn't come with any in the box, but it has a tiny one on the end of the pen, and this gives it some friction when you're writing on the page, so it feels a little bit less like you're writing on glass, which of course you are writing on glass, but it feels a little bit more resistive to it. So it's trying to emulate writing on paper. Of course you could get a textured screen protector and make it feel a lot more like paper, but for me personally this is just fine, and it works nicely as well. There's enough resistance that I'm not slopping and sliding all over the place like I would be if it was a hard pen tip. Something else which is pretty cool that they introduced on the Galaxy Note 9 has been, of course, brought to the Tab S7 Plus. So if I hold down this button on the side, I can use gestures to manipulate the screen without having to touch it. So if I swipe to the right hand side holding the button, it opens the recent apps menu. If I swipe upwards, it goes home. If I open an app and I go into the menu, if I swipe to the left, it goes back. So it's all of the Android 10 gestures, but using your S Pen without actually having to touch the screen. You can even take a screenshot. So if I go side to side like that, it takes a screenshot. And that's the same thing. I can write on here with the S Pen as well. That pressure sensitivity working there as well. Thick line and thin line. It's that easy. It does take some practice, but you can customize them, so you can change which one does which. So you can make the right gesture to go home You can do the recent with the left gesture. You can make them whatever you like. It's very customizable. This is a 4K video test on the Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. Really, we do have software stabilization, so there's no optical stabilization here. It's not a flagship camera, but keeping that in mind, the quality is pretty good. And it is 13 megapixels for taking nice sharp photos. Nice colours. It's not crushing the shadows too much. And actually it's not overexposing too much either, so that's nice. And it's definitely capturing the colour of the sky. It does look quite accurate on the screen that I'm looking on right now. Autofocusing. It's not using dual pixel, so it's not quite as fast as the flagship phones. Nevertheless, it is pretty quick and very usable. Sound is coming directly from the Tab S7 Plus microphones. In good lighting, you can get some really excellent shots out of this camera. It's got great colour reproduction, really good sharpness, very good exposure as well. It really did surprise me how good these images are with a tablet's camera at 13 megapixels too. It's got a little bit of extra sharpness over the 12 megapixels you might find on smartphone cameras. Taking pictures of dogs, of course, is just as good, in good lighting, that is. Now when it comes to low light, it deteriorates. There's not much light getting into the sensor, evidently, as in this photo you can't really see much. And this is with night mode switched on, keep in mind. Night mode is turned on. If you have no light, then good luck capturing a good photo. With the S Pen we can even take selfies. So if I get my S Pen and I press the button, it takes a selfie. I believe if I hold it down, it takes a burst shot. So I'll go into my photos there, and you can see it's taken 2 photos. So it's taken this one, and it's also taken the burst shot, as it says in the bottom there, 29 pictures, all with just the S Pen. If you double press, it switches the cameras. This will be quite handy if you want to be in a group photo, for example, and you haven't got anybody else to hold the camera. You can do everything you need to with the S Pen. Inside it does have all of your standard radios, so GPS with GLONASS, Bluetooth 5.0, Wi-Fi 802.11 AC, as well as Wi-Fi 6. So if you have a Wi-Fi 6 compatible router, you can take advantage of that here. We do have an in-display fingerprint sensor. Time to time, it struggles to read my fingerprint if my skin is dry, because I get dry skin. So you'll need to apply some moisturizer whenever you're using your fingerprint scanner. No, I'm just joking, but for real, it struggles a little bit with dry skin, and if you have a little bit of dirt on there, or even just a hair on your finger, it struggles a little bit. But it works just fine. Battery life is just fine. With that 120 Hz refresh rate, of course, it's going to suck battery. With that switched on, I've been getting between 6.5 to 7 hours of screen on time, which, considering the massive screen size and the Quad HD resolution, of course it's going to drain the battery a bit quicker than a standard 1080p display. But overall battery life is just fine. If you turn off the motion smoothness, which is the 120 Hz, and turn it down to 60, which I'm doing now, that's where it is in the settings. So you go to your settings, display, motion smoothness, and it'll be there. 60 Hz will of course drain a lot less battery, so it's going to last about 30% longer with 60 Hz on instead of 120 Hz. But overall, battery life is okay. It's fine. It's not the Energizer Bunny, but at the same time, it's pretty decent, especially with this massive screen and that high refresh rate. Of course, I can't speak for everybody because everybody's usage will vary depending on what they're using their tablets for. This does have the optional keyboard cover accessory that you can get directly from Samsung, or there are many third-party options out there. But if you want to use this for a laptop replacement, then you absolutely can, because we do have Samsung DeX built in. Now, instead of having to plug in a cable, this time round it's completely wireless. Now, I don't have a display to show you, but I can show you DeX itself. So if you go into your top menu here and you press the DeX icon, of course, it opens up Samsung DeX. Now, when this opens, it looks like a Windows desktop or a Linux desktop. You have your battery percentage, your time, all of your notifications down here on the bottom right hand side. I can add more apps if I want. And you can add as many as you like, but eventually it will get to where you need to scroll across to be able to access them. Down here at the bottom, you have your notifications, your Wi-Fi, etc. So if you tap on one of them, you have your menu here. So for those of you who want a laptop replacement, it's here. It's great for productivity work. Word, PowerPoint, Excel are all built in for free because Samsung has that partnership with Microsoft. So for those of you who use Microsoft Office, it's available here and it's built in for free. It's available in 3 colours: Mystic Bronze, Mystic Black, and what I have here, Mystic Silver. And they all come with a nice soft touch finish. And the S Pen, of course, will complement the colour you choose. So guys, that's my review of the Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. Definitely a candidate for your next tablet. If you're looking for something very nice, has a gorgeous screen, high refresh rate, high performance, good battery life, something that's a good all-rounder. The only weakness really here is the cameras. Then this is the tablet for you. It does come in the 2 sizes of the regular Tab S7, starting at £649. That one has an LCD panel, but still has that 120Hz refresh rate. Or you have the Tab S7 Plus, which I have here, starting at £799 with the 120Hz refresh rate and, of course, Quad HD Super AMOLED display. I do hope this has been helpful to you. Please like, comment and subscribe, and please hit the bell down below to receive notifications every time I post a new video, and I will see you in the next one.